Your brain is useless for thinking about now. The only thing you can do with now is experience it, which means I'm distinguishing thinking from experiencing.
The time is right now, and now, and now. You can't even tell someone the exact time. By the time you say it, it's already over. The past is always stubbornly behind us, or if you have the Hebrew mindset, it's in front of you because you can see it.
2, 3, ride the wave. Take a breath.
Recalling the past and applying it to thoughts of the future keeps us trapped in a state of mental disease.
Ride it. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. You'll start to feel something interesting. With your eyes open or closed, you will start to feel something kind of interesting, a bit of a buzz.
You can't even think about now. You can only experience it. How you spend your days is, of course, how you spend your life. Are you thinking about your life, or are you experiencing it? I have a question for you folks. What do you think would happen if we didn't keep time? If there were no clocks or calendars? What would that look like to you? Would we mature differently? Would money and society become chaos? I think yes and yes. We are driven to have anxiety by prepping for a future famine and driven to depression by Facebook memories on the news. People are bothered by the things that have happened, the past, and things that have not happened, the future, instead of being content in the moment of now, that everything is perfect right here and now. If we can learn to genuinely live in each moment as it is, we will find that humanity will be happier instantly, right now, as a whole. So what actually is time? We live inside a time machine. The celestial sphere is a giant clock. The earth, moon, sun, planets, and stars are like the clocks we use, counting seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, seasons, years, and on and on.
Because there's a minimal amount of time, so there's something granular in the passage of time.
The future is a blank ream of paper in a printer. The present is the inkjet hitting the paper. The past is the shredder that munches the paper as it exits the printer. Astrology in the zodiac is precise timekeeping put in place on the 1st and 4th days of creation for signs. What's your sign? A thorough birth chart is taking a snapshot of the celestial sphere at your time and location of birth, going deeper into the pattern that makes you tick. Just like voices and fingerprints, yours are unique to you and only you, and so is your birth chart. What was your first memory or your first impression that you were here, your conscious awareness? How old were you? Where were you? Who was with you? And what was going on? How did you feel? For most of us, something tremendous was happening. It seems that memories tend to stick when they are emotionally charged. Some people say they can remember being in the womb. I'm asking because I was following a rabbit hole and landed on Terrence Howard.
The truth is, I woke up inside my mother's womb at about 6 months of age. Like boom. But I woke up and I was like, oh God, I'm here. I'm here. Don't forget.
Suddenly, I realized something I had never considered before. That first moment I can remember, my grandmother was in cardiac arrest on the living room floor, and my mom was saying my name, and it's as if I didn't know I was Sandra. I remember my first thought, she's talking to you, you're Sandra. I literally didn't know. It's like I just arrived in a body that's 3 years, 3 months, and 4 days old on January 2nd, 1980. Time for me hadn't existed before that very moment. As far as I can tell, I didn't either. I didn't exist, but the body I'm in was existing. Who then was operating this body prior to my awareness? And all of a sudden you're here. Boom. Life is happening and suddenly you're aware of it. I'm pretty sure every single person knows that moment for themselves. Flesh and bones and organs don't require consciousness. It all operates on a whole other level. that my grandmother's life force entered my body at that moment. I absorbed her light. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually sounds logical too if you think about it. I think time is one of the most fascinating and confusing subjects because it is the very essence of Genesis 1:1. The most amazing implication is that it begins after so much has already happened. Genesis 1:1 is an animation of a creation so complex that the words and language to express it to the human mind do not exist. Similar to a brand new car, you don't tell people the story of your car at the drawing board, the machine shop, or the assembly line. You talk about the first time the car was animated by you, when you put the key in the ignition and put that first tenth of a mile on the odometer. That is what Genesis 1:1 is. It's hitting that ignition. Think of all the departments and teams of gods it would take to create this world and the cosmos. You'd have your god team of architects. The architects send the cut list to the factory. The factory god team cuts all the parts to size for readiness of construction on the site. Now the project has moved on to the construction god team, who take the product to the site. Hopefully you had your grading god team level and flatten the ground in readiness for construction. At this point you get into the Mandelbrot set, where you can go back before Genesis 1:1 so far that you'd never even be able to read forward again. There is no end to going back in time. But there will always be a language barrier in the limits of the mind's eye to stop you. I looked up atomic time, and it turns out that there's a discrepancy, and we'll get into that in this video, why that is such a thing. The symbol is a lowercase s, also abbreviated as SEC. It's the base unit of time in the International System of Units. Although the historical definition of the unit was based on this division of the Earth's rotation cycle, the formal definition in the International System of Units, SI, is a much steadier timekeeper. The second is equal to the duration of 9,192,631,770 periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between the hyperfine levels of the unperturbed ground state of the cesium atom. Because the Earth's rotation varies and is also slowing very slightly, a leap second is added at irregular intervals to clock time to keep clocks in sync with Earth's rotation. A leap second is a 1-second adjustment that is occasionally applied to the Coordinated Universal Time to accommodate the difference between precise time and imprecise observed solar time, which varies due to irregularities. Coordinated Universal Time is the primary time standard by which the world regulates clocks and time. It is within about 1 second of mean solar time at 0 degrees longitude and is not adjusted for daylight saving time. It is effectively a successor to the Greenwich Mean Time. Greenwich Mean Time is the mean solar time at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, London, counted from midnight. At different times in the past, it has been calculated in different ways, including being calculated from noon. As a consequence, it cannot be used to specify a particular time unless a context is given. International Atomic Time is a high-precision atomic coordinate time standard based on the notional passage of proper time on Earth's geoid. It is a continuous scale of time without leap seconds. It is the principal realization of terrestrial time with a fixed offset of epoch. It is also the basis for Coordinated Universal Time, which is used for civil timekeeping all over the Earth's surface. An epoch in chronology and periodization, an epoch or reference epoch is an instant in time chosen as the origin of a particular calendar era. The epoch serves as a reference point from which time is measured. Specifically, both Julian days and the Gregorian calendar are used. TAI in this form was synchronized with Universal Time at the beginning of 1958, and the two have drifted apart ever since due to the changing motion of the Earth. The Julian day is the number of days that have passed since the initial epoch defined as noon Universal Time, Monday, the 1st of January, 4713 BC in the Julian calendar. That noon to noon day is defined as Julian day 0. Before the difference between the two scales reaches zero point 0.9 seconds, a leap second is added to UTC. On average, Earth has been slowing down a bit over the past decades, so UTC is currently running 37 seconds behind TAI.
I said, Mike, you're not on the cutting edge of technology. You're a caveman. Because why? Because we think what we know, what we've accumulated in knowledge, we've accumulated over the last 75 to 100 years. Before that, the entire Earth was a blur. Nobody knew anything.
Sidereal time is a time scale that is based on Earth's rotation relative to fixed stars. The sidereal day is almost 4 minutes shorter than our 24-hour day. So the mean solar time is the hour angle of the mean sun plus 12 hours. This 12-hour offset comes from the decision to make each day start at midnight for civil purposes, whereas the hour angle, or the mean sun, is measured from the local meridian. The duration of daylight varies during the year, but the length of a mean solar day is nearly constant, unlike that of an apparent solar day. An apparent solar day can be 20 seconds shorter or 30 seconds longer than a mean solar day. Long or short days occur in succession. So, the difference builds up until mean time is ahead of apparent time by about 14 minutes near February 6th. I'm not making any of this up. Consider a first fictitious sun traveling along the ecliptic with a constant speed and coinciding with the true sun at the perigee, which is perihelion, actually. An apogee when the Earth is in perihelion and aphelion respectively. Then consider a second fictitious sun traveling along the celestial equator at a constant speed and coinciding with the first fictitious sun at the equinoxes. This second fictitious sun is the mean sun. The length of the mean solar day is slowly increasing due to the tidal acceleration of the moon by Earth and the corresponding slowing of the Earth's rotation by the moon. This is all just way too mind-popping. I hope that this is making sense to you guys, because it's truly not making a whole lot of sense to me by the end of it. And this is definitely going to require a lot more deep diving and a lot of comments from you guys. I want to know what you all know about time.